On Thursday, 28th August, there are quite a few news, and one of which happens to be covered in the first page of the newspaper. Indian youth who joined ISIS killed in Mosul. Now there are 2 points to it. Point number 1, they're trying to project now that ISIS is bad, and if you join ISIS, then you are going to meet with the same fate. But there is an underlying, hidden, more harmful point in this, which is not written manifestly. That point is basically the ISIS has been very successful in this. In fact, the Zionists have been very successful in putting ISIS as their front man, so to say, declaring all this Khilafah stuff and the Khalifa stuff, etc., all this rubbish. So ISIS has been very careful, and they have chosen the dates very strategically. First Ramadan, they announce that, okay, such and such person is the Khalifa of the Muslim Ummah. What nonsense. And it has been projected in the media that they have been struggling to establish or re-establish the Khilafah for some 2 years or so now. The point is, they have raised this cry of Khilafah, and they have been, in fact, the Zionists have manipulated their cry in the media to such an extent that they have been able to fool masses of Muslims into believing that the Khilafah, the authentic Khilafah, the Sunnah Caliphate, is being restored. And because of this brainwashing, large number of people, whether from India or from other parts of the world, from America, from from Britain, from Europe, from all parts of the world, many people have joined ISIS. They have been brainwashed into thinking that a Khilafah is being re-established and they are doing something good. They are waging jihad. This is not the case. And if you are fools and if you allow yourself to be brainwashed, this is what the fate is going to be. All these things will not be written in the newspaper, obviously. In the newspaper, only that much is mentioned, what I have told you in the initial part of this address. So all these things we need to understand. How successfully they have brainwashed masses of youth. And now they're suffering. And it doesn't matter whether you are a terrorist or you have been brainwashed. If you fall into such traps, you're going to face the consequences. And so this person, this youth, has faced the consequences. He has met with the death. Okay, so the other reports in today's newspaper, on Thursday, are even more important from an eschatological perspective, Islamic eschatological perspective, where it suggests that the US, the allies of the US has been mentioned in its operations against ISIS. And mark this very carefully, who are the allies of US mentioned. The 7 allies that are mentioned are in alphabetical order. It is mentioned, and so I'll give it to you in alphabetical order, not necessarily implying or indicating that this is the order of their closest to least close ally, not at all. So the 7 allies mentioned are Australia, Britain, Jordan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates. These 7 nations. So what I want you to remember is that last year, this is 2014, this is September 2014 now. Last year, when we had conducted the retreat in June 2013, we had informed you that Saudi Arabia is an ally of the Zionists, and Qatar is an ally of the Zionists, and Jordan is an ally of the Zionists, and the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, is an ally of the Zionists. And all of you knew about Britain, America, and Israel. None of you knew, very few of you knew, but now the awareness has been raised about that, at least, Britain, America, and Israel. But these so-called Islamic states, you wouldn't believe me. And now this has come in the newspaper. So this is what we had stated, and our analysis has been correct. So about the allies, it's now being mentioned. And this was mainly the primary news, but besides this, there are other important news as well. Next, the IMF chief, International Monetary Fund chief, Christine Lagarde, has been put under scanner for some corruption case, in a French corruption case. Now, what's going on here? IMF, you will tell me, or you will remind me now, it's a Zionist organization. So why do they want to malign or defame the IMF chief? So I tell you that there is a reason why. When Britain had given way, when the Jarl's first day was ending and second day was coming into prominence and the power was shifting from Britain to America, the pound sterling was no more the dominant currency in the world. The US dollar did become the global currency, the primary currency. So similarly, as the Jarl's second day is coming to a close and the third day is coming to prominence and the power is shifting from America to Israel, they want to relegate the institutions which primarily led to the emergence of the US dollar as the most important global currency into a secondary status. They want to relegate both the US dollar as well as those institutions which propelled the dollar to the forefront. For example, the IMF and the World Bank, etc. These were the institutions which propelled the dollar to the forefront. And dollar now became the dominant currency, taking over from the pound sterling. So now when Israel wants to rule the world, it wants to control the economy as well. And so those institutions, for example, the IMF and the World Bank, etc., which actually helped in the rise of the dollar, that will have to be brought down, or at least relegated to a secondary status. And that is what is being done now, slowly but surely. This is very difficult to penetrate. But now that we have given you the insight, you will realize this. Surely you will realize this. Besides this, these are the three important news. If I may add about the first page news, now India wants to investigate about the middlemen who brainwashed. There are no middlemen. Come on, there are no middlemen. It's you who are brainwashing the masses. There's ISIS, who are the right-hand man, the right-hand wing of the Zionists. So what talk of this middleman is? Okay, so last day, yesterday and today, the truce signed by Israel and Palestine, Hamas, etc. So the truce that was signed, and Prime Minister, PM of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu is being criticized for signing the truce. All this is drama. All this is drama. There's no truce. And now, and they're also making a mockery of Obama. This is a symbolic downfall, bringing down the President of America symbolically and strategically. So if Israel has to rise in power, not only economically, but also politically, in fact, in all spheres, it has to do so. So it wants to show Obama basically as a joker. Yes, we can. All these you can read in the newspapers. I don't want to just elaborate on these issues. So, okay. So now Benjamin Netanyahu is being promoted as someone who is sort of a global leader, who has compassion, who has mercy, and who is rational, who intends to do good for Israel and for the whole world, primarily for the whole world. And so this is also being fueled. And the last bit of news, it would hardly seem to have any relation with eschatology. In fact, it's not really, but let us just state that anyway. About this festival, whatever you call it, whatever nonsense you may want to call it as, throwing tomatoes at each other in fun and game and frolic and nonsense and fest, basically what they want is, you may not believe, I mean, this is not even meant to be a serious thing, but whatever it's meant to be, to waste 125 tons of tomatoes, what sort of nonsense is this when hundreds and thousands of people are dying of hunger? There are strategies in which you destroy crops, you destroy fruits, you destroy everything. So basically 125 tons of fruits, edible fruits, which are good for health, tomatoes, goes down the drain. Artificial food shortage.